What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best WNBA player props on PrizePicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see we actually got 20 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get 20 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon. Should be a link down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $425 just yesterday. Another member who won $335 for the 6th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description. So go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group. And I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. Also want to give a quick shout out to Michael Garcia T9V, who said love the picks and the analytics, so shouts out to him. And also shouts out to PGA Daily, who said I'm liking Young over 8.5 RA and Ionescu over 17.5 points. So shouts out to them, and if you do want to win a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below in this video and like it, and you can be in the running to win a shout out in the next one. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're going to be talking about is none other than Caitlyn Clark, and this one is for 8.5 assists, and this one is for less. Now looking at Caitlyn Clark, we actually have seen her go on the under in 1 out of the last 5 games. Now this has definitely been an interesting one because we have actually seen that Caitlyn Clark over the last 5 on June 15th faced off against New York Liberty, actually had 9 assists there. After that, faced off against on June 18th against Connecticut Sun, had 6 assists. Then June 20th, faced off against Golden State Valkyries, had 9 assists there. After that, on June 23rd, faced off against the Las Vegas Aces and had 10 assists. Then June 25th, faced off against Seattle and also had 9 assists there. So it's definitely been very interesting. Now, when we look at, the last 5 games, we also do see that Caitlyn Clark's average over the last 5 is actually 8.6. So, slightly above this line, but nothing really too convincing for us. Now, obviously, coming into this matchup, we do know that it is definitely going to be an exciting game, but we do know that, Caitlyn Clark and the Indiana Fever face off against the Golden State Valkyries. Now, looking at both of these teams and where they do rank, we do know that Golden State Valkyries and Indiana Fever both have had a pretty, decent season so far. We do see that Indiana Fever do rank 7th in the WNBA, but also rank 3rd in the Eastern Conference. Now, they have a record of 9 wins and 9 losses. They have a 50% win percentage. On top of that, they are 5-5 from home, 4-4 from away, and also are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So it's definitely been interesting there. Now, looking at their matchup, Indiana Fever face off against Valkyries, and Valkyries are only 1 slot above because they actually are ranked 6th in the WNBA. Now, they have a record of 9 wins and 9 losses. They also rank 4th in the Western Conference and have a 50% win percentage. They are 7-3 at home, 2-6 from away, and are currently on a 2-game losing streak. So both of these teams are pretty mid-tier. We are expecting them coming into this matchup, both trying to get this win as they want to continue to push up, those rankings for sure. But looking at Golden State Valkyries and where they do rank assist-wise, we do know that Golden State Valkyries do actually rank 5th when it comes to assists allowed. Now, we definitely still see that being enough to see someone like Caitlyn Clark go on the under in this one. Now, when we look at Golden State Valkyries, what we have seen time and time again is that they also do a fantastic job at restricting assists to Caitlyn Clark's position. And the fact that Caitlyn Clark is, one of the main players for this team, it's definitely a big sign for us there. Now, Caitlyn Clark, not only is she a fantastic player, but she definitely is the star. And what we have seen when it comes to Valkyries, their defensive strategy that they do like to run is to really hone in on stars, try to restrict them as much as possible. And that's what we are expecting in this next game for someone like Caitlyn Clark. Now, Caitlyn Clark is also coming back from injury. She has been injured for some time now. Nothing really too major, but her last game was on June 25th. And since this is her first game back, we aren't expecting her to be, straight away at the high usage rate that we usually do see her at. And that's another big reason why we do like the under for this one. So all signs really do point towards the under for this one for us. And when you look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have her favored for the under as well. So that works out in our favor there. So for that reason, Caitlyn Clark for 8.5 assists for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now getting into the next one, we're actually going to be talking about another great player. And that is none other than Mon'nique Billings. So Mon'nique, as we all know, another fantastic player. Now she's from the Golden State Valkyries, team. And this one is a great one for 5.5 rebounds. And this one is for less. Now looking at Mon'nique, we have seen her actually go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. Now looking at those 5 games, you see on June 26th, faced off against New York Liberty, had 7 rebounds there. Then June 28th, faced off against Chicago, had 4 rebounds. Then June 30th, faced off against Seattle and had 3 rebounds in that matchup. After that, July 6th faced off against Minnesota, had 4 rebounds there. And then July 8th faced off against Atlanta and had 6 rebounds in that matchup. So we definitely have seen Mon'nique Billings, go on the under quite consistently. Some games she has gone on the over. Most games she's gone on the under over the last 5. And we look at her average over the last 5, it is also 4.8, so significantly below this line. So coming into this matchup, it's definitely going to be an exciting one. Now, looking at this, it's definitely going to be an interesting one because we do also see that, Mon'nique Billings, Golden State Valkyries face off against Indiana Fever. Now, we did just recently touch on this, but just to quickly remind you all again, Mon'nique Billings and Golden State Valkyries and the matchup against Fever. Valkyries do rank 6th in the WNBA with a record of 9 wins, 9 losses. And over the last 10 games, they are also 6-4. So they have been doing pretty well over the last 10. Then you look at Indiana Fever, who rank, 1 slot behind at the 7th spot in the WNBA. They have 9 wins and 9 losses as well, but over the last 10 they are 5-5, so both pretty decent in that aspect. However, what we do see is that Indiana Fever, their matchup, when you look in more detail, do rank first when it comes to rebounds allowed. So they rank first, and that's a big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here. We definitely see someone like Mon'nique Billings going on the under due to that situation. Indiana Fever have just done a fantastic job at restricting rebounds time and time again. That's a big reason why we definitely are expecting Mon'nique to go on the under here. Now looking at someone like Mon'nique, it's definitely an interesting one because we do actually see that Indiana Fever have not only just been a great rebounding team, but they also do a fantastic job at restricting rebounds to the forward position, which is what Mon'nique is. So that's definitely taken into consideration. Another big reason why we do like the under for this situation here. Now, coming into this game as well, we also do know that Mon'nique has also had a little bit of a less or lower usage rate over the last 5 games, which is why she's gone on the under in 3 out of the last 5. So she has had a little bit of a cold streak in her rebounding department, and we definitely see that continuing on into this next game, no doubt about it. So for that reason, Mon'nique Billings 5.5 rebounds for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're actually going to be talking about none other than actually Yuro. Now, Lee, great player as we all know, and she's also done a fantastic job for her team, Dallas Wings. And when it comes to Lee, we actually do very much like 6.5 rebounds for less. Now, looking at Lee, we actually have seen her go on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games. Now, this one's an interesting one. We do see Lee Yuro actually go on the under in 2 out of the last 5, but looking at those last 5 more in depth, we do see June 25th faced off against Atlanta, actually had 15 rebounds there. Then June 28th faced off against Indiana Fever, had 3 rebounds in that matchup. Then June 29th faced off against Washington, had 7 rebounds. July 4th faced off against Phoenix, having 11 rebounds. And July 8th against Phoenix had 7 rebounds there. So we actually have seen her go on the under in 2 out of the last 5, but her average over the last 5 is also 8.4. store. Now coming into this next matchup, we do know that the Dallas Wings have themselves a very good matchup against Chicago Sky. Now looking at where both these teams rank, we do know that Dallas Wings have definitely had a pretty tough start to the season because they actually have a record of 6 wins and 14 losses. So they have a 30% win percentage. They're also 4-6 from home, 2-8 from away games, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. And they also face off against the Chicago Sky team as well. And looking at Chicago Sky, we see that they rank 12th in the WNBA with 5 wins, 13 losses. They also have a 27.8% win percentage. They're 2-4 from home, 3-9 from away, and are currently on a 2-game losing streak. Now, when we look at Lee, we definitely do very much like this situation here for someone like Lee, as we have seen time and time again, because Chicago Sky do actually rank 6th when it comes to rebounds allowed. But more specifically, we actually do see that, Chicago Sky rank very, very high when it comes to restricting rebounds to the center position. So that's a big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here. Chicago Sky are a great rebounding team when it comes to the center position and actually restricting them. And for someone like Lee, whose usage rate has definitely been, pretty mixed bag, I would say, over the last 5 games. We are expecting her to go. Now, this one's an interesting one. And when we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have her favored for the under as well. So that works out in our favor there. So for that reason, keep an eye out for Lee Yuro for 6.5 rebounds for less. I think is a fantastic pick. So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but PrizePicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Bria Hartley. So Bria Hartley, as we all know, great player for none other than Connecticut Sun, and we have seen her do a fantastic job so far this season. Now, what we do see is that Bria Hartley for Connecticut Sun has actually averaged 7.6 points, 1.8 rebounds, 2.9 assists, and also 0.9 steals. So she's definitely done a fantastic job there. Now, as we all know, Connecticut Sun do have themselves a very good matchup against none other than Seattle Storm. So it is going to be an exciting game between both of these teams. Now, looking at where both of these teams do actually rank in the WNBA, we do see that Connecticut Sun have had a pretty tough season because they currently rank 13th in the WNBA. So they not only rank last in the Eastern Conference, but they rank last out of all 13 teams in the WNBA, which has definitely been pretty upsetting. But they do have a record of 2 wins and 16 losses. They have an 11.1% win percentage. They are 1-7 from home, 1-9 from away, and are currently on a 10-game losing streak. So it's definitely been a little bit tough for Bria Hartley and Connecticut Sun, but as we all know, they do have themselves a very good matchup against none other than Seattle. And Seattle on the other side of the table do rank 5th in the WNBA with a record of 12 wins and 7 losses. So they have a 63.2% win percentage. On top of that, they are also 6-3 from home, 6-4 from away, and also have a 2-game win streak currently. So it's definitely been pretty good for Seattle Storm. And when we look at Seattle defensively, we also do see that they rank 5th when it comes to points allowed. Assists allowed, they do rank 6th, and then rebounds allowed, we also see that they rank 11th. So they do rank a little bit lower in that category. However, when it comes to Seattle Storm, they do still rank pretty mid-tier. Like I mentioned, there is only 13 teams in the NBA, so when you rank around that 5th to anything 5th or lower, you're definitely more hitting that mid-tier than anything. And coming into this matchup, we do very much like the over for this situation here. When we look at someone like Bria Hartley, she definitely has a decent usage rate in all 3 departments, which is why, we do like her for the over for this one. Now, she doesn't have the highest usage rate in this team for sure, but we definitely still see it being enough to see her be able to go on the over. Now, looking at the last 5 games, she's definitely had some pretty tough games, but we see on the 23rd faced off against Golden State Valkyries. Now, they actually lost there 87-63. Now, she actually had 7 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists in that matchup. Then faced off against the Las Vegas Aces and had an 85-59 loss with 6 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists there. After that, we saw her face off against Seattle Storm, had 19 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists there, with also 1 steal. Then faced off against Minnesota Lynx with a 102-63 loss and had 3 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists there. So it's definitely been pretty interesting for, Bria. And then finishing off, also recently had a game with the Las Vegas Aces and had 7 points, 0 rebounds, 2 assists, and also 2 steals as well. So we definitely have seen, Bria Hartley play decent in some games and do a pretty good job. Now, obviously, looking at this, last 5 games, they have lost all of them, however. But when we look at the most recent game against Seattle Storm, we saw Bria be able to have such a great game, and we are expecting a similar situation like that coming into this next one, no doubt about it. Now, coming into this game, it's definitely going to be a big one, but looking at Bria Hartley, we definitely see her value and her usage rate remaining high coming into this matchup. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for it. So Bria Hartley, keep an eye out for the line. I definitely do believe she will has a capability to go on the over, especially the line is under her averages. So definitely keep an eye out for it. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Ari McDonald. So, Ari McDonald, great player. Now, she has done a fantastic job for Indiana Fever so far this season. We actually have seen her average 10.3 points, 2.3 rebounds, 4.4 assists, and 1.3 steals. So, she's definitely done a big job there. Now, when we look at this matchup, it's definitely going to be an exciting one, but we also do see that, Indiana Fever do have themselves a very interesting matchup against the Golden State Valkyries. Now, it's definitely going to be a big game for sure, but coming into this one, we do very much like, this matchup between both of these teams. Looking at this matchup more in depth, we do see that Golden State Valkyries and Indiana Fever. Now, starting off with Fever, we do see that they actually rank 7th in the WNBA. Now, when it comes to the WNBA, the rankings is off all 13 teams, so definitely just keep that mindset coming into it. But looking at that one, they rank 7th, but they also rank 3rd in the Eastern Conference specifically. They have a record of 9 wins, 9 losses, 50% win percentage, are also 5-5 from home, 4-4 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So when we look at their matchup, Golden State Valkyries, we do see that they rank 6th. So very near when it comes to rankings. They rank 6th in the WNBA, but also rank 4th in the Western Conference. Now they have a record of 9 wins and 9 losses as well. So they also have a 50% win percentage. It probably definitely comes down to points for and against. Now coming into this next one, we also do see that, they have a record of 7-3 at home and then 2-6 from away. Now, when we look at, this matchup more closely, we also do see that, Golden State Valkyries defensively do actually rank 2nd in points allowed, 5th in assists allowed, and then also rank 7th in rebounds allowed. Now, when we look at this matchup, we also do know that Golden State Valkyries do rank a little bit higher in the points category. And on top of that, we also do see that Ari McDonald ranks or has a little bit more of a higher usage rate in the points department, which is why we do like the under, but strictly just for points. Now, this one's an interesting one to us. We do very much like the under due to these situations because, Golden State Valkyries, although, they do have the same record pretty much as Indiana Fever, they have been a very, very good defensive team when it comes to points. And we definitely have seen Golden State Valkyries. It's definitely their defensive strategies that they do like to run. They like to restrict players as much as they can, and it's definitely been a big problem for, some teams, and it's led them to the under, and that's what we are expecting from Ari McDonald coming into this game. Now, looking at her last 5 matchups, it's definitely been some interesting matchups, but we do see that she's faced off against LA Sparks recently on the 27th, actually had an 85-75 loss with 14 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist there. Then faced off against Dallas Wings on the 28th, had a 94-86 win with 13 points, 2 rebounds, and 6 assists there. After that, on the 2nd, had against Minnesota Lynx, had a 74-59 win, had 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist there. After that, faced off against the Las Vegas Aces, had an 81-54 win with 8 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. And then against the Los Angeles Sparks with 4 points, 1 rebound, and 8 assists there. there. So it's definitely been interesting. Now, when we look at Ari McDonald, we also do know that Ari McDonald does face off, not only just against a Golden State Valkyries team that rank well defensively, but they also do a great job against McDonald's position. So that's definitely a key aspect to us for this one. And that's why we do very much like the under for Ari McDonald. But like I said, strictly just for points. So keep an eye out for that, sort of category. I see a lot of value there to go on the under, especially the line is too close to our averages, but strictly just keep an eye out for points. So getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Katherine Westbelt. Now, Katherine, great player, as we all know, for Phoenix Mercury. Now, she's done a fantastic job so far this season, but what we also have seen is that, she's averaged 6.8 points, 3.1 rebounds, 1.3 assists, and also 1.2 steals. So she's definitely done a fantastic job there. Now, when we look at someone like Katherine Westbelt, we also do know that against Phoenix Mercury has also been a big, season for them, but they do have themselves a very good matchup against Minnesota Lynx. Now, the reason why I think this is going to be such an amazing matchup is because when we look at the rankings, Phoenix Mercury do rank second with a record of actually 13 wins and 6 losses. So they have a 68.4% win percentage. They're also 8-3 from home, 5-3 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. And like I mentioned, they do face off against Minnesota Lynx. And when you look at Minnesota Lynx, you actually do see that they rank very well because they rank actually number 1. Now, this is going to be a battle between the first and second, ranking in the WNBA, which is why there's definitely going to be a very, very exciting game. Now, looking at this matchup, we do see that Katherine Westbelt and Phoenix Mercury have definitely, are definitely coming into this game to try to win it, because Lynx have a record of 17 wins, 2 losses, an 89.5% win percentage. They're 11-0 at home, 6-2 from away, and are currently on a 5-game win streak. So Minnesota Lynx have been an absolute tear lately, and Phoenix Mercury are looking, to pretty much ruin that coming into this game. Now, looking at where Minnesota Lynx, however, rank defensively, we do know Lynx rank first in points allowed, second in assists allowed, and when it comes to rebounds allowed, they rank a little bit worse, and they rank 8th. Now, coming into this game, we do actually like the under for this situation here for someone like Katherine Westbelt. Now, although Minnesota Lynx do rank a little bit worse in that rebounding department, we don't really see that affecting this line too much, in a sense that we still do like the under for all 3 categories. And a big reason being is that when we look at Lynx more specifically, we actually do see that Lynx do a great job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to actually Katherine's position. Now, Katherine Westbelt tends to play that second unit, and that's definitely a big focus for us. Lynx's second unit do a great job at stopping the second unit for Phoenix and also for other teams in general. So that's why we are definitely liking the under for this situation here. Looking at someone like Katherine, we also do see that against, a team like Minnesota Lynx, who do like to play a little bit more slower paced basketball, it's definitely going to have an effect on someone like Katherine's usage rate. As Katherine isn't really the main player for this team, she is really just a rookie, it's definitely going to affect her usage rate, as when the slower paced game, slow pace means less volume, and less volume means less opportunity for someone like Katherine. So for that reason, I do very much like the under for this situation here. Well, looking at this one, we also do see that, looking at the last 5 games here against Chicago Sky, she had a 107-86 win. In that matchup, we actually saw a 107-86 win, but on top of that, also had 8 points, 5 rebounds, and 0 assists there. Then against New York Liberty, had a 106-91 victory with 5 points, 1 rebound, and 4 assists there. After that, faced off against the Las Vegas Aces, had an 84-81 loss with 6 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist. After that, faced off against Dallas Wings with a 98-89 loss with 6 points, 2 rebounds, and also 1 assist there. And then faced off against Dallas, had a 102-72 win with 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 0 assists there. So it's definitely been interesting for Katherine Westbelt coming into this game. Now, looking at someone like Katherine, we have definitely seen that, she definitely has had a pretty decent usage rate in some games, other games not really. But in a tough matchup like this, especially against the number 1 seed, we should definitely see Katherine take a little bit of a backseat, as she is a rookie. And, I do believe that Phoenix Mercury are going to focus on their veterans to really provide for this team and try to get this win. So keep an eye out for this matchup. I see a lot of value there to go on the under, especially the line is too close to her averages. Now getting to the next player, we're going to be talking about Isaiah James. So Isaiah James, great player for none other than Dallas Wings. Now she's done a fantastic job so far this season. We've actually seen her average 8.6 points, 2.8 rebounds, 1.9 assists, and also 0.6 steals. So she's definitely done a fantastic job there. Now looking at this matchup more closely, we do know that the Dallas Wings do face off against Chicago Sky. And looking at where both of these teams actually do rank, we do know that Dallas Wings actually rank, pretty poorly, as they rank 11th in the WNBA, and they also rank last in the Western Conference. So they have a record of 6 wins and 14 losses, a 30% win percentage, and are currently on a 4-6 home, record, and a 2-8 away record with 1 loss. Then they face off against Chicago Sky. Now Chicago Sky also ranked 12th in the WNBA. They rank 2nd last in the Eastern Conference, and on top of that, they have a record of 5 wins and 13 losses. So it's definitely an interesting one there. They have a 27.8% win percentage. They are 2-4 from home, 3-9 from away, and are currently on a 2-game losing streak. It's definitely been a little bit tough for this team, but coming into this matchup, it's definitely going to be an exciting one because we do very, very much, like this situation, as Chicago Sky actually do rank when it comes to points allowed. They rank 11th. When it comes to assists allowed, they also rank 9th. And then rebounds allowed, they also do rank 6th. So, they do rank pretty poorly in all 3 categories. And for that reason, we do very much like the over for this situation here. Looking at someone like Isaiah James, we have definitely seen her do a great job in all 3 departments. She definitely has a decent usage rate, which I think is really good. But coming into this matchup, it's definitely going to be good. But we also do see that Chicago Sky, their poor defensive, strategies that they have run has definitely been a big problem, which is why we are expecting someone like James to take advantage of it and go on the over here. Now, looking at her last 5 games, she's definitely played some big games. We do see she faced off against Atlanta, had a 68-55 victory, had 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist there. After that, faced off against Indiana with a 94-86 loss with 14 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. Then faced off against Washington, had a 79-71 victory with 15 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist there. Then faced off against Phoenix Mercury with a 98-89, victory with 28, 6 rebounds, and also 6 assists as well. So she's definitely done a fantastic job there. And then faced off against Phoenix Mercury again with a 102-72 loss with 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. So coming into this game, we do very much like this situation. We definitely see someone like, Isaiah James going on the over, being able to take advantage of this, which is why we do very much like the over for this situation here. So keep an eye out for Isaiah James. I see a lot of value there in all 3 categories. I don't really think you need to focus on anything in particular. I think points, rebounds, and assists all definitely have the capability to go on the over. So definitely keep an eye out there. So for that reason, keep an eye out for the over, especially if the line is under her averages.